Hello everybody, I'm Maria and welcome back to my Nook. Maybe you've already guessed it, but today's video is going to be a reading vlog and I am actually incredibly excited for this reading vlog. I feel like I might be saying that about every reading vlog because reading vlogs are just exciting, especially because I do read books that I am excited about. And I should probably stop using that word now. Anyway, you have also already seen the book I want to read in this reading vlog, which is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Now, this book I've heard so many good things about, but it's still not only my choice that makes me read this book right now. This book is the April book club pick of the month of the Wyverns and Words book club that I'm participating in of a sort. And the fact that I'm getting to this book this month is honestly a bit of a miracle, because this book is part of the Grishaverse, and ever since I have heard about the Grishaverse, there's the Shadow and Bone trilogy that basically takes part before the Six of Crows duology, but you don't really have to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy in order to read the Six of Crows duology. You can read one without the other, and you can read the Six of Crows duology first and the Shadow and Bone trilogy second, but I've heard that it's just easier to understand the world and the magic system and all that if you read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first, because it just gives a better description and explanation for it all. Ever since I heard about the Grishaverse, I had set my mind to wanting to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first before reading Six of Crows. And now Six of Crows was announced the April pick of the month for the book club, and I was like, well, guess this is the time to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy now. And I actually made it. I finished the third book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy 2 days ago. That in itself is quite astonishing, honestly, because normally, like lately, I read about 2 to 3 whole novels per month. I mean, if I read a graphic novel or something like that, it's more, but 2 to 3 whole novels per month. And I had already read 2 books before I even started the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So by now I have already read 5 books this month, which I can't believe I have managed this. It's been a marathon so far, and I'm really hoping I can finish Six of Crows before the end of the month as well. I'm really excited that I'm reading this book now. I actually quite enjoyed the Shadow and Bone trilogy in the end. Like, the first book was kind of mediocre and had me a bit bored. Like, it was just okay, kind of. Then the second book really got me, and the second book and the third book I actually really enjoyed. So now I know this world, I know my way around it, I know Leigh Bardugo's writing style and all that. So I'm actually really happy about getting to stay in this world, but meeting new characters and there being a whole new adventure and all that, you know. I've been talking for like 5 minutes already and I haven't even mentioned what this book is about. I mean, many of you probably know what it's about because it's pretty popular. In short, there is this heist, namely retrieving a hostage from a military stronghold that has never been breached, and in order to do that, a group of 6 dangerous outcasts gets assembled. That's basically it. There's not much more about it that I know. I've seen a couple of snippets of the Crows, which is what this group calls themselves, apparently. I haven't gotten that far in the book yet, but I've seen a couple of snippets because after finishing the Shadow and Bone trilogy, I did watch the trailers to the Shadow and Bone Netflix series, where apparently the Crows are also a part of it. But anyway, I just finished chapter 3, which is page 63. Leigh Bardugo does tend to write pretty long chapters. I've noticed that in the Shadow and Bone trilogy already. And so far, this is very, very intriguing. We've seen 3 different POVs so far and met mainly three different characters, which makes me assume that we will get possibly all the POVs from all the 6 people in the group once we've met them all. One of them, I'm not sure if we're going to meet again. I mean, I would kind of hope so, but my hopes have kind of been strangled. We've met the guy that will probably be the main guy of the group, because that's what the back of the book sounds like, and that's also kind of what the POVs seem to suggest so far. I have to be honest though, when his age was revealed, like I'm talking about Cas Brecker. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Honestly, any of these names, right? Because like Joost, I don't know, Joost, no idea how to pronounce that name. Inej, Inej, Cas, Brecker, I don't know. And I am guessing I will struggle more with upcoming characters. But Cas, when his age was revealed, I was gasping for air, to be honest, because I kind of refuse to believe that that's his age. Like, I don't know if I can mention it because I kind of feel like I don't want to spoil that so other people can have that sort of reaction, you know, but like I still can't, I just can't believe that that's his age. But anyway, this heist situation was just proposed to Cas, and now it's basically time for him to assemble a group to go on that heist. And I am incredibly intrigued. That's all I can say so far, because not that much has happened yet. There's this drug going around that kind of enhances and manipulates Grisha's powers, which is pretty scary, honestly, but not much more has happened yet. So I am very curious to see where this book will go, and I'll probably talk to you tomorrow because it's already rather late in the evening, and I hope I can get more reading done tonight and much more tomorrow, because again, like, I tried to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first, and now I'm trying to read this book before the end of the month, and usually I try to be an early bird and like finish things like book club reads and stuff early so I don't have to stress out about them. But today's already the 23rd of April, and I would like to have this book finished by the 29th. That might be a bit difficult, but I can do it. I think I can do it. To do that though, I'll get back to reading now and I'll report back to you later once I've read a good bit or have anything interesting to say. Alright, hello everybody. It is the next day now, day 2, and I have read a whole bunch since we last talked. I think I was on page 60 something when I first updated you and last updated you, because I obviously wanted to give you a sort of first impression. Now I have just finished chapter 15, which is exactly the end of part 2 of this book, and page 195. That's how much I read. Honestly, my main update is that I am really enjoying this book. We are, as I just said, already on page 195 out of, I think, 490 something, almost 500 pages that this book is long. And this group of outcasts was what they're called on the cover. They've just started their journey for their heist, their mission, which is what this whole book is about. And I know what you may be thinking, like, page 195, already the end of part 2, and they just started their journey. Sounds a bit slow, I know, but honestly, I'm not bored at all, and I don't feel like it's going slow at all, because the author did have to introduce 6 characters to the reader and bring the characters together first and like introduce the mission and then get the mission started. That does take time. And there were some, let's call them troubles or struggles, before they were able to actually start their mission. It does explain why they're only now on their way, but I really do not mind. I'm just enjoying this so much. I surpassed my reading goal yesterday, and I surpassed it today by like over 30 pages, I think. And it didn't really take me that much effort. I mean, it took me some effort to read over 100 pages today, obviously, because that's not really my usual reading pace. But I've had other books where reading 100 pages in a single day took me more effort. I feel like reading this book just kind of flows nicely, and I'm enjoying it so much that I just keep reading and I just keep turning the pages. I'm enjoying the characters. They're so interesting and intriguing, and I find the relationships between them, like, not just romantic relationships. There aren't really any romantic relationships at the moment going on, but like platonic relationships and alliances or enemy sort of relationships and all that stuff. I find those incredibly interesting and entertaining. The banter is also pretty good in this book. I've already tabbed quite a lot of things for my standards, and most of those things were things I found funny, or just, you know, where the banter was good in scenes or conversations. I'm also really intrigued just about the backstories of the characters. So far, we haven't seen that much backstory from that many characters. We've gotten a whole bunch of backstory about one of the relationships between 2 of the crows, and it was basically most of the backstory that I had wanted to see, but I'm still incredibly intrigued to see where their relationship will go, how it might evolve or change, or how it will fare during the course of the story. I don't know, I'm just really enjoying this book. There's just something about the crows. They're such a misfit bunch, but I am enjoying it so much so far. And I'm also still incredibly, I don't even know if I've said that before, but I'm really intrigued about Cass's backstory. There have been a few hints, but I want to know more. I'm so curious about it. One thing that still kind of throws me off a bit is the ages of the characters, because they're all very young. I mean, they're not like 13 or anything, even though like one of the characters comes pretty close to 13 actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but I just don't really know how to feel about that. For some of them, it does make sense, and some of the backstory also explained why they're so young and still in this situation, you know what I mean? But for some of the characters, I'm like, would you act this way at this age? Because they're more giving off the vibes of like someone who's like 20 years older and has been in the business for 20 years longer. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know. But I've heard from somebody that the backstory might make it make more sense. So I'm hoping that that will soothe my brain about this fact. I mean, it doesn't really annoy me or anger me or anything. It just sometimes kind of throws me off a teeny tiny bit in certain scenes where I'm like, okay, I'm believing this, and then my brain throws in the fact that this character is that certain age, and then I remember, yeah, wait, would that make sense? I don't know, maybe it's just my brain that makes me second guess whether I should believe this or not. Even though it's hard to talk about believing when you're reading a fantasy novel, you know what I mean? But either way, I am really enjoying this book. I might stop reading for today because I'm at the end of part 2 and it is kind of late by now. So I feel like this is just a good way to stop for today. And I'll continue reading tomorrow. But I might only update you the day after because I'll be a bit busy tomorrow. But I'll see you during my next update. It is now 3 days later-ish since we last talked, because yesterday and the day before I only filmed a couple of clips that you've seen, but I haven't updated you. The day before yesterday, I only read like 35 pages. And yesterday I did read about 70 pages, but I still thought I would update you this morning, today, because I am now on page 305 in the book, which is pretty good because I'm kind of positive that I could finish this book maybe tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, at least on time for the book club, which is pretty cool in my opinion. The last time I talked to you, the 6 crows had just started their journey for their heist, basically. And now I'm at the point where they've just entered the building that they wanted to get into, which is the ice court, where this hostage that they want to get out is being held. And they've just gotten into the ice court with some struggles and some rather adventurous methods. Let's say that much. I obviously can't talk about too many details because spoilers, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey so far. There's been some heated situations. I'm really enjoying the character dynamics and some of the heated relationships and heated backstories and all of that stuff, which is also one of the big points that makes me like this book, because I am on page 305 and they've only now gotten to the place where they wanted to get to. Like, other books would almost be finished by now, and there's still so much to be done in this story, right? But it still doesn't feel slow or boring at all to me. I am so invested and I just want to keep reading and reading and reading. Like, I just somehow don't grow tired of this book. I've talked about this before, but reading 100 pages in a single day is just not the usual case for me or my usual reading pace. So doing that can easily tire me out, especially when it's a book that I'm not having the easiest time reading. I mean, even if I'm enjoying the book, it can still tire me out to read 100 pages in a day. But with this book, I'm just like, I've already read 100 pages, but I kind of want to read more. You know what I mean? Even if it's already bedtime for me, I just kind of want to read more. I'm also really enjoying the banter in conversations and situations. I've been tabbing quite a lot in this book for my standards, if you can see. Like, that is quite a lot for my standards, and most of these tabs are situations that I found funny or that I liked. One thing that still kind of throws me off is the ages of the characters, and I know I've mentioned this 100 times, but especially with Cass, like, there are just some actions of him, some things he does, that rather give off like 40-year-old mafia boss that's been in the business for the past 25 years vibes, which is not what Cass is. You know what I mean? So it just kind of feels a tiny bit off, but at the end of the day, it's a minor thing. Like, I'm still enjoying their characters and I still love them. I don't know. I guess it's just something that confuses my brain a little bit. Also, speaking of backstories, Cass' backstory? Holy smokes. Like, there were hints throughout the story, and I've tried to piece some things together and imagine some things, and what I had imagined was already painful, you know? But I just read the chapter, yeah, I think it was chapter 22, if you know, you know, where something was revealed, and that was heartbreaking. That was so horrible. I just sat here and teared up while I was reading that. That was just heartbreaking, honestly. But all in all, this book just made me realize that I'm a sucker for this. A crew of mismatched people is going on some sort of heist or mission together to achieve a common goal trope. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm having a great time. And I hope I can read a lot today and then update you in the evening. I am back home now. As you just saw in the clips, I went for a little walk. I went to the park for a while and just sat on a bench and read a little, which, by the way, has made my allergies kick in. Until, I don't know, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I had no allergy reactions whatsoever. And now I've suddenly been hit full force. And it's no fun, let me tell you. I did leave the park earlier than I had intended to. There was this, I don't know, elementary school or kindergarten or something, and they were having some kind of party going on with like live music and kids performing acts on a small stage and all that kind of stuff, and they were being kind of loud. I mean, I'm happy for them that they were having fun, right? But those were just not really the vibes that I wanted to have for reading Six of Crows. And also, it was getting a bit cloudy and windy, so I was getting kind of cold. But anyway, reading update. It's almost 8:30 p.m. and I've now made it up to page 411, which is the end of chapter 35. I honestly don't think there's much I can talk about, because at this point, sort of everything would be spoilers. Like, I can't even be vague about it, because even that would probably give away what's going on. Or maybe I can. Like, it's been a roller coaster. The past 100 pages have been a roller coaster, let me tell you, especially chapter 35. What? What? And I am enjoying it, but I'm also stressed the heck out. I'm stressed the heck out. And I have no idea what is going to happen in these last like 80 pages. I'm stressed, okay? but I also really want to know how this is going to end. But I'm also kind of not ready yet to let go of these people. Like, I've grown so fond of them. But something I did notice is that we're getting to see very little of Wylan. I didn't really go through and count the POVs or anything, but I do feel like we're getting very, very little POV chapters from Wylan, and therefore also very little backstory for Wylan. I can't even remember the last POV chapter of Wylan, and I think the last time we got any major piece of backstory from Wylan, my god, okay, it must have been before page 150. And ever since then I feel like we've only gotten like tiny snippets of anything about Wylan in conversations between him and the others. So I'm kind of missing that. But other than that, I'm still really enjoying this book. Like, I'm eating it up, basically. I think I'm pretty positive that I'm going to be able to finish this book tomorrow. I think I'll talk to you once I've finished this book. So I have finished Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and that was a fantastic read, honestly. I've enjoyed it so much, and I know I've said this 100 times already, but I just enjoyed this book so much. I had such a good time with these characters on this mission, this adventure. I had so many emotions. I laughed out loud, I teared up, I felt it all. I was there with the characters. I tabbed this book so much. You saw it in a clip, I think. I literally went through a whole tab color. That has never happened to me with these tabs before. I don't just have these colors, I've got other colors on these kinds of sheets as well. And with these colors, I never ran out of one of these colors before. Like, I've run out of tab colors before, but not one of these yet. And what's even more astonishing is that this tab color I've never used before in a book. This was the first book where I started using this tab color, and I finished using this tab color in this book. I ran out of that tab color, and I literally had to start using the same color but in these tabs. that sort of situation. For a single tab at the very end. There's a single tab in this book that does not fit in. But that's fine. That just honestly tells you how much I enjoyed this book. I love this reading experience. I also really loved the way that so many situations and actions in this book and of these characters seemed so random and impulsive at first, but then later on it turns out they were very much planned. Like, maybe not exactly this way, but some part of it was planned. And I'm like, what? It was kind of planned and they improvised, and that's what happened. And this whole time I thought you acted impulsively and stupid, if we're being honest. But no, it was basically part of the plan. It was so well written, and I enjoyed this so much more than the Shadow and Bone trilogy, if we're being honest. Like, I enjoyed the second and third book, but this one was so much better. One thing that I do want to add though is that I went through and counted, because I actually felt like we have not seen Weiland's POV in forever. So I went through and counted. I'm only counting 44 chapters of this book. If you've read it, you will know why. So we've got 9 chapters in Kaz's POV, 11 in Inej's POV. By the way, I looked up how to pronounce her name, and Inej is the correct way to pronounce her name. We've got 9 chapters from Nina's POV, 9 chapters from Jasper's POV, and 6 chapters from Matthias' POV. And I do feel like that's basically as balanced as you can get when you've got 6 characters on hand. But then we've got 0 Weiland chapters. My own brain betrayed me by making me think we had a Weiland chapter at all. Like, there was none. None! I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It does make sense at the very end, and I think I understand what Leigh Bardugo was trying to do, but I also kind of feel like, and maybe I'm not the right person to judge this because I've never written a book in my life, I still kind of feel like we could have gotten chapters from Weiland's POV and it would not have ruined anything about the ending, because we also got chapters from other characters' POVs and it didn't ruin anything about the ending. I'm trying to be vague here. I can't go into detail obviously because I don't want to spoil anything. I just feel like as an author, to make the choice to give one of your 6 main characters exactly 0 POV chapters in your book, that is just quite the choice. You know what I mean? I would kind of like to know what exactly made Leigh Bardugo do that though. But as I just said, it's not that big of a deal. I still really enjoyed my reading experience. I'm definitely going to read the sequel. Now with that, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this reading vlog. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. Perhaps let me know in the comments if you have read Six of Crows or maybe the Shadow and Bone trilogy and how you've liked it. If you haven't read any of those books, just tell me what you're reading right now, or if you want to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy or Six of Crows. Don't spoil anything in the comments though, please. And other than that, maybe follow me on Instagram or subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet. Bye!